My name is Niamh Pattwell and I'm the Module Coordinator for Literature in Context 1, which is, as it happens, one of the two core modules that first years are obliged to take when they come in to do their English degree. The two core modules will introduce students to a range of texts starting in the Middle Ages and going right up towards the 20th, 21st century. In Literature in Context 1 specifically, we'll be looking at the Renaissance and medieval period. So most of you will be fairly familiar with the Renaissance period through the works of Shakespeare, and that's where we're going to start you. So we're going to start with what is familiar and work towards what is less familiar. You will be asked to work in groups, but you'll also be keeping a learning journal. So the assessment will be measuring both your performance and your participation in group work and in your individual writing, the keeping of worksheets over the 12 weeks, which will form the learning journal. So you'll be studying a Shakespearean play of your choice from a selection. Okay, it isn't that you just go and pick whichever play that you want. We will actually, pin you down a little bit, but just a little bit. Then in the second half of the semester, you'll be moving into the medieval period, and in that stage you'll be looking at a very small portion of a much larger body of work. So you'll be looking at the general prologue from Geoffrey Chaucer. Now, the thing about Literature in Context 1 and Literature in Context 2 is that they are what we call inquiry-based learning modules. And that simply means that you, the student, are to some extent in the driving seat. You are the one with the questions. You are given a task, a challenge, a problem, which you are asked to respond to design response to. So you have to come up with the questions, you have to decide what it is that you know, what it is that you don't know. You have to learn how to evaluate resources, what is good, what is better, what is best, as it were. And you also have to learn how to present that material both orally and in written format. So the challenges or the projects vary quite literally from year to year. It might be something as simple, in the case of the medieval material, which is what I teach, to pick out a series of characters that might make an introduction to medieval literature in a TV documentary. So it's kind of an imaginary situation. Or in the case of the Renaissance period, you might be asked to put together a guide to a play that could be used by a group of students, we'll say, visiting the Globe Theatre in Shakespeare. In the case of the Literature in Context 2 module, you are actually putting together a literary magazine but you have to focus in on a very specific period. So it's all about you coming up with the questions, you gaining an overview of a historic period, in fact a good overview of the whole historic period that we teach in this school. So it's very much about an introduction to that, an introduction to the kind of literature that we teach, as well as an introduction to research skills, very key and very specific information on how to use the library and all the databases that are there, and as I say, how to formulate and how to present your material at a third level, so moving you very much into independent scholarship, away from the kind of thought and guided teaching that you would have experienced as second level students.